Welcome to the Lead Management Mastermind Show, the only podcast where you'll learn about lead management best practices from the top lead management and sales marketing executives in the industry. Hear about the optimization, strategy, and techniques that have made each of our guests the best of the best in the lead management domain. Live from the headquarters of SDP Solutions, here's your host, Scott Payne.
Hey guys, Scott Payne here with the Lead Management Masterminds podcast. So glad to have you back on episode 12. We're already at 12 episodes. So excited to be bringing you this awesome content. Have an awesome guest with me today. So excited to have Alex Kutsishin, or otherwise known as Alex from Sales Boomerang. Alex, how you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great. Really am.
Good. Well, good to have you on the show. Been wanting to get you on for a while now. I'm glad we're able to make it happen. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and your history, if you can, real quick?
Sure. Thanks for having me on. By the way, congrats on the 12th episode. Glad I could be the big number 12 here. So serial, historically speaking, I'm a serial entrepreneur. This is Sales Boomerang is my 7th company. Just always enjoy taking the idea that nothingness, right? This empty space and all the opportunity around the empty space, and then finding the one thing that you can really love to do, and then building a business around it, hiring people, impacting an industry or an area. So that's sort of what I've been doing since I've been 20. I'm 37 now. Mm-hmm. And so launched Sales Boomerang, started developing in 2016. And, we started really growing this in 2017 when we went into beta. And what Sales Boomerang is an automated borrower intelligence engine. Simply put, we tell lenders when someone in their database is ready for a loan now, right? And do it in a very intuitive, frictionless, automated manner so that we humans can keep doing the thing that we do best, which is being humans and connecting like we're doing now. And like we're encouraging a lot of people to do, even though we're so far apart. How can you get closer together? So that's what Sales Boomerang was built on, the concept of aligning the interests between lenders and borrowers. And making sure that you're both talking about the things that you both care about, and not just, I need to fulfill a check the box, fill as many FHA deals as I can or conventional deals as I can. It's like, what does my borrower need? Why do they need it? Do they know they need it? And do they know that I can help them? And then positioning that for the future. So that's what we do.
Awesome. Well, I read a little bit about you and caught up on some old videos, and it sounds like you didn't come from the mortgage industry, and you came from another industry where you walked into the mortgage industry and looked at some retention rates and was just floored at how low they were compared to some of the things you've done in the past. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? I think that's interesting for people who are, who come into different industries and may not, I think it's always a fresh perspective, right? A fresh set of eyes on something. And it kind of stuck with me as I was watching some of the stuff on you throughout the past couple of weeks.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Thanks. I love this story. So definitely not from the mortgage industry. I'm in love with it now. I'm so glad that I'm here.
Sure.
But came from the technology space. One of our current partners was going to invest in my technology company that I had called Fiddlefly. It was an organization that made a bet that these things were going to be more than just phones. And so he was going to invest there. There was other investors that came in that just wanted to put in a little bit more. Long story short, we stayed connected. Ken Bartz from Monster League Group, which is, by the way, an amazing mortgage marketing organization, the number one direct mail mortgage marketing company in the nation. Once I sold my shares in Fiddlefly, the mobile technology company, Ken and I stayed connected, and he said at one point, "Hey, come over to us, help us with our technology, right, and help improve our marketing communication and our current platform while you're sort of a free agent out there, right?" And so, in looking at their numbers, this was the thing that floored me. We were about to post on their website that in 2015 alone, Monster League Group had created 212,000 unique phone calls for their lender clients. Unique phone calls. That means they tracked the phone call one time. Mm-hmm. And out of those 212,000 phone calls, about 19,000 loans transpired that came from that. And that was going on their website. And I was like, what? That's like 10%. Why are we cheering 10%? I just came from a technology space where 30 to 40%, if not higher, of everyone that came in contact with us was signing up. And when we looked at the long tail of that, we were touching 60, 70% that we started 6 months ago, and then it ended up being clients 7 months from now, right? And we're 10%. And I said, I asked the question, I said, what in the world happens to the other 190,000 people that didn't move forward? And the answer I got was, well, guess what? They're going to have to buy this lead again. And I was like, wait, I called Scott for a mortgage. I can't get a mortgage for some reason. For Scott to call me and tell me he can help me again, he has to buy a lead. Couldn't you just call me and tell me? Mm-hmm. They're like, that's not how it works. And the minute I heard it's not how it works a couple times in a row, fireworks went off in my head. I'm like, wait a minute. This seems like something is antiquated. Is there a gap that we can fill this gap and help the industry? And so that's when we got into it. It was like, hey, why isn't somebody moving forward? Oh, it's their credit. Oh, it's their rate. Oh, it's their equity. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Mm-hmm. And we're like, great. Wouldn't it be great to notify that lender when that borrower was ready, rather than trying to buy leads again? Build the relationship. Tell the borrower up front that, look, when your situation changes, you don't have to look for a lender. I got you. I'll call you. Right?
Yeah.
Especially with turndowns. That was where we started. We started with this turndowns because every lender we interviewed before we launched this, as we were building it, I said, what do you do with your credit denied customers? And they're like, nothing. We do nothing. They're dead to us.
Yep.
And I'm like, let's analyze that. And we ran a report. This is my favorite report. 1,500 records for a lender that turned down 1,500 customers. Mm-hmm. And he said, if one of them came back this year, we'd be happy. When we ran the report with the bureaus, we found out that 112 had already taken a loan in the last 12 months. Taken a loan. 112. And 444 were sitting with their credit repaired, no loans, and nobody's talking to them because they're hurt, right? They just got denied. They're embarrassed. They're not going back to you. And so we wanted to change the script, turn the tables and say, look, when you're denied, we embrace you even more than just a random shopper. Like, we know what needs to happen for you to get this loan, and we're not going to stop until we get you there, right? And so that's how this came to be.
Awesome. Well, you see your shirt there for those watching the video, No Borrower Left Behind. I love the marketing behind it. And everywhere I see you online or at a conference, I always see that shirt. Great branding you guys have done with that. I assume that's where it comes from, right? That no borrower is being left behind in these situations, right? So it all comes together for those that are listening out there that, that's really the basis behind the product itself. And again, I've seen some major things, or some really important things to me, at least, right? Just the way you guys have marketed it as far as weaponizing your loan officers and giving them extra tools in the tool belt that they're not going to have, to your point, right? Like this stuff is sitting out there. They don't know about it until it's too late. We'll talk more about some of your products here in a little bit, about how you guys help identify for lenders what they've missed so they can get better in the future. But before we do that, let's talk about some of the events that you do track, because for most of the originators out there, they're used to things like credit triggers and maybe an MLS type of listing and these types of things. But you guys take it to the next level as it relates to some of the events that you guys have.
Yeah, I think
talk about some of those events.
I think my kids decided to join us.
Hey, work from home. Here we go. Hey guys.
Yeah, here it is. This is the new reality is right here.
This is it.
Give me a second, buddy. Let me finish this, and I'll be right with you. 1 second. Yeah. Yes. The answer is yes. Go for it. So
You're good, man.
Is, the events that we track is and go ahead, Zach. Yes. Let me finish this, buddy. Okay, no problem.
Hey, if you need to take it, we can edit this stuff too. If you need to take a quick second, you're good.
No, he's good. This is great. I think, look, the world that we're in, they should see this. The world.
This is life. Yeah.
Yeah. This is life. So the things that we track, and I like being raw and real. So this is real.
Yep.
And what he wanted, by the way, for everyone wondering what he wanted to buy a game on his iPad. And our kids do chores, right? They do things around the house, like take out the trash, the compost, clean, all the stuff. And for those things, they get money.
Rewards,
and they want to buy something, they use their money, right? It's not that we're sitting there and buying them all the things that they want. When they want to buy, that's why he was holding like $8 in his hand. He's like, I want to buy this app because you'll buy it for $3 and you'll give us $3 in cash back to us. So that's what he was asking.
There you go. Yeah. I won't be surprised if my son or daughter walks in shortly as well. So
there you go.
Here we are.
So the things that we track, the mortgage inquiry is very important. So first of all, there shouldn't be a lender out there that's not tracking their own client's mortgage inquiry. That's number one. That's because your client is out there shopping and you should at least remind them of why they chose you. Many times they just forgot you, right? So let's put that to the side. Not just buying net new triggers, not going out and saying, hey, these people we don't know, but if they're buying, they're shopping, we want to know. That's okay too for prospecting, but you should definitely have it on your database. Okay, number one. Number two, we're tracking all relevant mortgage-related events. So the listing event you talked about, equity notification, or an MI drop alert. So we have an equity alert and we have a standalone MI drop alert that you can get, right? Says their MI is ready to drop, right? We have a credit improvement alert that will tell you, hey, 2 ways that people use this. Number one, I credit denied you. I'm going to embrace you when your situation improves. I'll call you. You don't have to call me. That's the message, right? The other thing is for your existing customers. Your existing customers, you did a loan for them. They're at a 642 FICO score. All of a sudden, they're at 700. What better news can you deliver? Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Borrower, when we did your loan, you were at 642 FICO score. Now you look like you're over 700. We can get you into a whole new rate group. Amazing, right?
Right.
So credit improvement. We're also tracking rate information. And this is where our clients say, they give us the delta. They say, look, I did a loan for somebody at 3.5%. If we're offering anything 0.5% lower, tell me that I should look at this file again, right? We're not saying this person is the person you should call and say you have a loan for them, but here's 18 people today that you should look at their file just to make sure, yes, this is a good candidate, which by the way, we're going to talk more about product that's coming, how to enhance that. So there is literally an opportunity to offer something when there's a rate opportunity. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Then we have something called Lens, Life Events Notification System.
Yep. I like this one.
Yeah, this is super powerful. This is tracking life events. We don't use social. We use factual information from a local, regional, and national repositories of public record data. So when somebody's getting married, getting a divorce, there's somebody that passes away. We use some strategic approaches to find out if there's an empty nest, somebody's going to college, new baby's born, like all of these events.
Huge events, yeah.
And we train all of our clients to not approach the topic with the borrower as a direct event. Hey, we always make this joke. Hey, Mary, I see you left Bob. Let's not do that. That's not how we want to approach this. What we want to approach it as is saying, there's an event that's happening. At some point, there's going to be a mortgage-related event because of this. Prepare yourself, pepper them with information, reach out, start a conversation, say, hey, Scott, just checking in. What's new in your life, right? You may have just had a baby. I don't want to say, hey, I heard you had a baby. But if I follow you on Facebook and you posted it and that, then of course. But you want to inquire. You want to know that you can ask your borrowers questions and be honest and open with them about, hey, I'm ready to receive the information you're about to give, right? So that's life events. Really powerful for depository banks, huge for depository banks. Because depositories have banking clients that aren't banking clients, right?
Yeah.
Also huge for servicers, sub-servicers, and incredible for giving referrals back to realtors. Really powerful. Then we have our crown jewel, which is about to have a lot of siblings, and that's called the cash out alert / debt watch alert. This is one that we're working on, and you're actually gonna hear this from me. You're the first one to hear this. This is an exclusive.
Awesome.
Yeah, 100%. We need to have the exclusive. This is an exclusive. We are working on. So we already have a cash out alert for our existing clients. So what this is, it takes the following information into account. So we'll say, hey, Scott's my client. I want to know when Scott's got enough equity in their home. Okay. And they're credit qualified. So two things together. That I know they could benefit from a cash out. They got equity, they're credit qualified, they're good to go. Now, on top of that, you can add debt. You can say, I want to know when Scott's home is worth at least $300,000 and they have 30% equity. So I know there's enough money in the bank or in the house, and they have a $10,000 in revolving credit card debt or more, and they're at 660 FICO score or higher. Boom, 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 boom. All those things match up. Scott, I got your back, right?
Huge, yeah, for sure.
Huge. And in this environment, here's the exclusive. We were only offering this to our clients and contracts, right? We are working on rolling this out for the industry. For the time being, no contract. You need to see who in your database needs you right now because cash may become really, really important for everyone.
Sure, yeah.
We'll give you that report. No need to sign a contract. We'll give you that report. We'll run it for you. We'll give it to you. So we're working on it. It's not quite ready. But once we've solidified exactly how we're going to do this, we're going to offer this to everyone in the industry because everyone needs it.
That's huge. Huge news. Thanks for the exclusive there.
Yeah, man. There you go.
We'll have to get this out sooner than later. People can hear about it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we just want to make sure that this isn't, so like somebody may not sign a contract with us for whatever reason, because whatever's going on right now. But this is what you just need right now. You just need to know who in your database has access to cash and is qualified for it as well.
I was gonna say, I've been talking a lot about that too. I was on a podcast recently with Mike Eshelman, and we talked about how the prioritization of people in the pipeline alone. I mean, you've got to be smart about how you're prioritizing people right now and what you're doing with your time. You only have so much time in a loan officer's day, right? There's only so much time, and so you've got to take advantage of what it is that's going to close. And to your point, if you're going to be calling people and going after people right now when rates are low, you've got to be smart about it, right? And that seems super smart way to be following up and calling people.
And you're only calling the one that could benefit from the rate and is qualified. The worst thing is me calling about saying, hey, dude, you're at a 4% interest rate. Let's get your refi. And you talk to your wife at dinner and you're planning already how you're going to do things, and you pull their credit and they're not qualified.
Right. Something happened.
Or they have a bankruptcy or something. And you're like, dude, Scott, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get your hopes up. You can't even take this loan right now. Yeah. So it's about efficiency, time management, right? It's about those things first. And then it's about being able to deliver good news without having to follow it up with bad news. Yes.
Yeah, you got it.
Slide. You want to change what slide? Okay, you can do that. How? After I'm done here, I can help you. Can we keep the door closed for the time being? You're the best. Can you shut it? Thank you.
I was waving at.
There's our star. She makes the video 2 days in a row.
Awesome, man. Give me a star. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, let's talk about this is all really good stuff, and I'll expand a little bit too as it relates to like lead management in general, right? As it comes into taking this data, right? It's one thing to get the data and get it in front of somebody, but I think to use the technology the companies have, I think is even more impactful. For example, I do a lot of my work with Philosophy clients, and I'm working with a mutual client of ours right now where we're taking the data that you guys are sending back. As it's coming back, as these people are hitting these different events, we're now prioritizing these leads for the loan officer at the right time, rather than just sending them kind of everything, which we do. Like they get notifications, but when it comes to the prioritization of activities, now we're saying, okay, you have these 15 things to do. Here's the order in which you should call the 15 things. And we're utilizing not just your data, but we're also utilizing past data on the customer, so we know what they're really good at with converting these types of loans, or this loan amount, or what, like just a number of different things. There's also in the scoring module where now we're able to tee it up to the right person at the right time. And there'll be some people where you get an alert on, right? And it may not, let's say it's one of the previous events that you had, right? And it's not the complex one. There'll be some events that come in that you may say, I don't want my loan officer to have to call them right now, but if I can send them an email or a text or something, some other communication that doesn't require the human capital, because time right now is so critical for someone's day. And if we can kick off these, nurture notifications based on certain things that are happening, I think you can even take it to the next level, because now, you're going to get residual stuff coming in. They're going to get some drip marketing for a week or two, and now they respond, and now you're able to take it from there rather than, spending time over a number of days calling that person. So, there's all kinds of strategies can be used. I'm interested to know a little bit about maybe a success story that you've had with one of your lender partners as it relates to lead management, because our listeners out there are mainly lead management type people. What's something that you found as a best practice for Sales Boomerang customers as it relates to lead management in general, and how they should take this data and manage their leads better?
Yeah, great question. And first of all, I love what you're doing. Using information you already have plus the new information, and the fact that you're being conscious about time. That's so important, because not only are you saving yourself time, your customer time, your LO time, but you're also going to save time for the consumer, right? Mm-hmm. That needs to be accounted for, because if you start the loan process, we all know how long that takes. It's not a 5-minute thing, and just getting things together and getting people all ramped up and moving forward to then halt it. It could be a time suck. So best practices and success stories. So, I'll mention some names of who's doing it incredibly well out there in general. So one of the organizations that absolutely crushes it and uses every technology and ties them all together is an organization by the name of Eustace Mortgage. A lot of you are going to know Stephen Barton when I mention his name, right? Kate DeKay is the CEO there. She's amazing. They have a great team in general. They run the organization like a family. They organize everything to be automated, everything to be connected. They're actually one of the first ones to really, really grasp the concept of helping their realtor partners get opportunities by taking their realtor databases, putting them inside the system, running them through Sales Boomerang, and then giving it back in an automatic fashion. And they use a platform called Usherpa, which is an amazing organization as well. They're a great CRM and automated platform. And they are actually the only ones right now that have automatically created a place for realtors to upload their data. It will go into the CRM, come to us for tracking, come back to the CRM, and go back to both places, to the LO and the realtor about mutual clients. And it's all fully automated.
Amazing.
And it's brilliant. Yeah, it's
such
amazing.
Great value. Yeah.
It's just phenomenal. They've connected their loan operating systems, their point of sale systems. Everything is all in here. So when anything starts, it's triggering all of these events, and they're also notifying. This is something really cool, and I'm going to talk about other organizations that do the same thing in just a second. But they've also made sure that they're alerting the loan officer, reminding the loan officer that there's events for them, right? Not just a one time, here it is, but don't forget you have events that you haven't gotten to yet. So get to them. So that's all very important, because we as loan officers, right, the sales force can get bombarded with new opportunities when they have a great one sitting right here. They may have just forgotten about it. And if it can boomerang back, right, and say, hey, don't forget about this one too, you can hand it off to an LOA. You can have somebody else help you on the team. That's very important. And so that is one of the success stories that I have, that we have is Eustace. Another amazing one is American Pacific Mortgage. They absolutely slay it with our system. They use Total Expert. They were the first ones with Total Expert to automate the entire process, including the journey messaging that you get through our system. And they are, if you don't know American Pacific Mortgage, everyone should know. And look up Kurt. The way he runs his organization top down. They all believe in each other. They all believe in the purpose they're serving in the world with lending, and they treat it that way, right? They treat it that way. And so they take our notifications and a lot of other things that they do, and they fully automated the process, right? Everything begins, right? The process begins, the journeys begin, and they're tracking all of those things. They're the first ones to also build in reports back to them how well they're doing with each notification, not just from Sales Boomerang, but with everything. But with us, they know exactly what turns into an into an application or into a funded deal. They built that into the tracking, into Total Expert, which is great. Later, we'll talk about conversion reports as a whole, because that's one of the things we do, as well as another report that you want to talk about. I'll let you bring up that topic. But so they do a great job. North Point does an amazing job of using it. They use Accelerate. They do a great job automating everything, and the feedback loop. And Accelerate has the marketing automation platform that's just rock star the way they operate. So those are a few best practices. You want to automate, you want to track, you want to make it easy to use. As you and I spoke right before the call, and we'll talk about adoption too, but because we don't have an interface for loan officers to have to log in, but they're logging into something they log into every day, and we exist there, it just becomes second nature for them. This is just every day. It just becomes every day, and they're not feeling like they have to pick up something new to do. So those, I'd say, are all best practices.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the automation stuff. I think that's pretty critical, because as these people, as you mentioned, like the hey, I saw you leaving Bob example, right? Like that, you don't want to come right in and say, hey, obviously that. But if you can at that point start dripping and stay top of mind for that customer, so that when you do call them in a couple of weeks, or maybe you call them immediately, but if regardless, if you can stay top of mind as it relates to the automation process of sending emails, or maybe start dripping in some text or whatever you can do to stay top of mind for that person, so that when they have that moment of thought, I think that's the key part, is the moment of thought is so critical that they remember you, right? And hopefully you've done a good enough job up to that point with your marketing, but as you start really even getting into some of these events that are happening, are you the top of mind person? Do you have any headspace with them? I've heard Alec Henson talk a lot about headspace, and are you in there, right? So meaning like they remember you, these types of things. So I think that's a key part.
That's a really cool concept, headspace, and you know what? It's an interesting segue, if you don't mind. Before we get into one of the topics you have in mind. So owning headspace and being there for your customer When we think about the environment that we're in right now, let's really take a step back and say, what happens when the world around you shrinks? Okay. All you're left with is what you have. You just saw my kids come in. I would invite my wife in. You're left with what you have. And what I have is my family, right? And what I have is my home, right? And friends and all those relationships. And as a lender, as a loan officer, what you have is your database. What you have is your customers. What you have is your referral partners. That's what you have. And the world around you has disappeared. And so what you're left with is this. And now the question is, what are you going to do with this? Are you going to have headspace for them, right? Are you going to be top of mind? The only way you're going to be top of mind is right now when you're tracking these events. There are many events that you're going to get from Sales Boomerang today that somebody can't take advantage right now because guess what? They're not showing houses, right? Mm-hmm. It's not happening. But this right now, this and I'm telling you, this is the industry. This is my message to the industry.
Yep.
Right now is the time to contact that borrower and tell them, look, do not be afraid. Okay, at least do not be afraid about what we're about to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
The sky's not falling. The rates are low, but it doesn't mean they're not going to be low tomorrow when this thing ends, right? So here's my recommendation for you. Let's schedule a time to talk on May 1st. I understand your situation. I just got a notification that your credit is all better. You're all ready to go. But in this environment, are you confident that you're going to have a career or a job after this, right? Let's not force you to get into something that you're not going to be able to manage, but I want you to know I'm here. And you line up all of those conversations. This is a cliche statement, but I'm going to say it because everyone says it. And it's in this environment, it's the most important time to actually live this statement.
Yep.
Plant your seed right now, because the moment this breaks open and we're all back to hustling and doing deals, everyone is going to fish out of your pond, and they're all going to want your fish. They're all going to want them. And you want to know, you want your fish, your customers, your friends, people in your database to know right now that when this thing opens up again, that you've already planned the next step with them, and they don't have to go looking for an opportunity. Yep. That's my big message to the industry right now.
I love it. No, and it's great advice. Absolutely huge advice right now. I think it's like should be that way all the time though. But regardless, right now, I mean, it's just people need to know. People are home too. That's the other thing. I've read some stuff that email open rates are higher now. People are home, and so there's an opportunity to take advantage of that. I think that to your point is right on, and hopefully people out there can share that with their network as well, and we can get the word out. So I'm going to do a little segue over to one of the products we've referenced a couple of times. Something that I found super impactful for our mutual clients is the loan loss report. Huge impact, right? As it relates to not only, kind of looking back at what you missed. Obviously what you missed is important, but really for me, it's about building a process around making sure you don't miss it in the future, right? Like you missed it once, let's not do it twice. Can you talk about the loan loss product you guys have? Some of the things that you guys have done with it, how it's maybe evolved over time. You can tell a little story about that and the impact your lenders are seeing because of it.
I love, great question. Love this question. Love the report. So loan loss report was originally called MOA, Missed Opportunity Analysis, right? Okay. When we just broke into the market and if we go back in time, in November 2016, we rolled out a campaign called The Mortgage Industry Will Fall in Love, okay? Because we knew we were launching on Valentine's Day 2017, right?
Okay.
We did this campaign and we wanted to get people to pre-register for this, and we got some people to pre-register. We're at 89 to be honest. And so this is never going to end. What's up, baby?
I want to buy this.
Okay, go upstairs and ask mom. Okay. Mm-hmm. Thank you. She's so excited to get this.
She's a star now.
That's right. She keeps making an appearance. Right. So when we rolled this out, because it was so new, right? Because it was so new, it's like, how do you know you're not getting every opportunity in your database, right? So we wanted to create this report called Missed Opportunity Analysis. If the analysis came back as you got everything under control, do not sign up for our service.
Mm-hmm.
Right? No reason, because you've got it under control. If the analysis came back and said that, hey, you missed out on $30 million in loans as a loan officer, because that's who we were talking to earlier on before we became all enterprise. If you lost $30 million in loans one year as a loan officer, you're going, oh my goodness, that's serious volume. If I could get 10% of that, 20, 30, 50, 80, if I can get all of it back, great. But if I lost anything of that volume, then it's a big issue.
Mm-hmm.
Then it evolved into not just what opportunities you've missed, because all we were looking at is your leads. We're saying, hey, these are your leads you spoke to. You never converted them. Somebody else did. Your opportunity was missed. Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody was thinking about their existing customers. We weren't even thinking about their existing customers. We were like, you got that, obviously. Of course.
Yeah. Everyone's got that. Sure.
Yeah. Your retention is probably like 85%. I'm not even going to ask you questions. Coming to find out, it's the exact opposite. But
yeah.
So then it transformed into a loan loss report, and it transformed into a loan loss report when one of our clients called and asked. He said, hey, is there any way you can tell me who in my database may have gone on to take a loan somewhere else? And he's like, I want to know from our clients, like which one of our clients have left us? And I was like, yeah, we can do the same report we run on prospects on clients. When I came back with that report, he was like, are you kidding me? Like, first of all, you just pointed out who on my team is the weakest. Yeah. Like, this is a serious problem. This is people that say they're talking to their clients all the time. They missed, 100 customers went somewhere else this year, and he's only got a database of 1,000. So 10% of his clients left this year alone.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, it showed the strengths, right? Number three, he goes, because then we added another report for him, and he analyzed his leads, where he's buying his leads. He's like, oh my goodness. Like, I buy my leads from here, and none of those have people taking a loan. And we haven't done those loans either. So that's a horrible lead channel for us. We need to stop buying leads from there. Like 2% of people took loans. That's horrible, right? So it became this interesting report. And now where the loan loss report is, we start a loan loss report for somebody from almost day one. We say, look, let's see what you gain to win from your database this year potentially, right? Because last year, and I'm not going to throw out numbers that you can't believe, but here are real numbers. We've done reports where people have lost $100 million in a year and $6 billion, literally $6 billion in 1 year, and everything in between that you can imagine. So we'll start a relationship and we'll say, hey, you have $648 million in missed loan opportunities from last year. Here's the lender they went to. Here's the type of loan they did. Here's the loan officer that was on the file for you. The full report, right? Yep. And now you get to see what you stand to win and identify some weak spots and look at the strengths. And now you know, hey, if we just do a pretty good job, we stand to make a lot of money. Yeah. And so this loan loss report, it's not, when you don't know what you don't know, you kind of move forward, right? The minute you start to realize, and somebody gives you a report that says, hey, you just lost $600 million. And by the way, here's your top competitor. And you thought it was the guy that was next to you, but the one that's eating your lunch is in Florida while you're in Texas, right? Yeah. Yep. And you get to realize all these things, right? And then you also realize the types of loans you're losing. You get to go, you know what? We keep losing these conventional loans. Maybe we need to refocus there, right? Yep. And so it has become one of the staples of our organization, and our clients will run this once a year, every twice a year, every month. They'll just, everybody has their own cadence to it, but it has become a true gem of the sales.
Yeah. One of the interesting things I found with one of my clients is that they found that customers didn't transact right away. So they bought these leads, and the customer didn't transact, but they did eventually, right? Yeah. Let's say 90 days down the road. And they found out that there was so much opportunity for some of these customers that they really just needed more education, is what kind of the story we told, which was that, they're eventually going to close, but, this organization was calling the lead for 10 days and that was it. And they'd stopped and they didn't nurture it. They didn't send any emails. They didn't any education. It was just, I'm calling you for 10 days and I'm done.
Yes.
And the missed opportunity they had was they found there was a big chunk of customers who eventually closed 90, 120, 150 days later. They didn't start the application for a process for 30 days after their inquiry. And so what we learned from that was we needed to put process in place that continued to drip market to these customers, engage them, place phone calls 30 days out, utilize things like what we did there was we looked at the time the customer inquired during the day. So they inquired at, let's say, noon. That was their lunch break. They were spending a lot of time over the first 10 days calling them at all random times. And what we said was after 15 days, after 30 days, 60 days, call them again, but call them around noon, because that's the time they originally inquired. And that's probably when they're available to talk on the phone. And so utilize some of the data and the analytics that you have internally to then use that in the strategy long-term to pick up these loans where the customer's going somewhere else, but you just got to continue to build a relationship and nurture with it. So this data is so impactful to lenders. They just don't know it's out there. They're not even thinking about it. And I think those that are going to be successful long-term are the ones that need to start thinking about this right now, not wait for, the craziness to get over. They need to put some of these things in place now the long term, they come out ahead on top of everybody else. So that's kind of my story on it.
I love it. Listen, you first of all, if you could bookmark or put a pin in this, and everyone that's going to listen to this needs to get to that portion that we just had a conversation. What you just brought up is so valuable. There's actually, we could do a whole 30-minute session on just loan loss, because we have clients that tell us how they use it. They use it in recruitment.
Yeah.
They use it in making sure that loan officers that leave don't leave with their records, and all of a sudden they land in a new place and those loans go there. And you're like, wait a second, we have an agreement here. Everything you started here stays here. You can't take it with you. That's and they can now identify it right away. Go, hey, come on, let's not play these. So, and there's so many of these little ways that people are using loan loss report that is beyond the loan loss aspect of it.
Yep. Well, hey, man, this is good. I think we could do a webinar or something out of this. Could be really good too. So let's end on this. So I've asked all of my guests about user adoption, right? As a technology guy, as someone who's implemented lead management systems all over the place, user adoption is critical, right? New technology, got to have adoption. And, I know you guys have some great stuff, and I know that, I'm sure your adoption rates are really high just because it's not hard to utilize this. Like, why would you not use this? So, but do you have any best practices as it relates to, the adoption of technology, new technology for loan officers in general? People are stuck in their old ways. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I can tell you what we do, what we know works, that really meets our customer where they're at instead of making them come to us. So number one, we know that this is an industry driven by very, very A-type personalities that want to win, right? So as you mentioned, our adoption is really easy because we have no interface for people to learn, and we integrate with existing technologies. 80% adoption is not a hard thing for us to reach pretty fast, right? We typically see that in most organizations. But how do we help support adoption? One of the first things we do is we schedule a regular training session that we will do at least once a quarter for our clients, right? That's number one. And that's the confidence. You can't use something if you're not confident about it, right? So building the confidence. We also take case studies, existing successes from loan officers, and then broadcast it to their existing teams.
Cool.
Besides the loan loss report, we have something called a conversion report, as you may know. And we can literally track. We're the only organization that tracks to the loan level, to the borrower level, to the LO level, to the dollar, what your return on investment is with us on a monthly basis. Every single month, you will know exactly how much money you made from using our system. And because we have that insight, we know that Scott did a loan for this person from an alert that we sent, took this many apps from an alert that we sent, and then we can take Scott, put him up on a pedestal and say, hey, look at how well this guy's doing, right? Here's what he's doing. This is what he's done for his life. He's changing his world because of this. Try to do what Scott's doing, right? Or at least one of those things. And then we'll maybe even have you speak to everyone, right? That's one thing. So training, taking case studies and existing results, because we know who to pick. We don't have to ask who's doing well. We see the conversion.
Yeah,
he took 18 apps and closed 4 deals that last month. Dude, you're the guy people need to talk to.
Yeah.
The other thing that we do is, because it's A-type personalities that all want to win, that all want to make money, we run contests. We pay for the contest, not the lender. We will literally say, hey, whoever takes the most apps from Sales Boomerang alerts will win AirPods, right? Whoever does the most deals will win an Apple iWatch or a TV or an iPad or dinner at your favorite restaurant with your team, or whatever, right? We run the contest. We have them do the tracking. We track the results, and that gets people engaged. Those people that never opened up, we'll have people, we'll have 80%, 90% of an organization using it. You have 10% that are they're doing well, so they haven't really looked at it. And all of a sudden you have this contest where we're giving away a 60-inch TV, and this guy goes, you know what, I should look at it. You know what kind of calls we've got? We've got people that call us and say, Alex, I'm so sorry, I haven't looked at this before. I just found my cousin, my best friend, my so-and-so, my neighbor. They've all inquired about mortgages, listed their homes. They've done things. And when I call them, they said they're already done with the loans. And I'm sorry I never looked at this, but I'm in it now. I'm in it. Now I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And so it just takes you looking at these events and realizing that you have something of value to call your customer with, and not fishing. Hey, what can I help you with? You're saying, I can help you with this. And so that's the kind of adoption things that we do. Yes, it's easy. Yes, there's no tech to learn. It might be easier than others. But we recommend in this space, understand who you're dealing with. These people are A-types. They want to win. They want to win big. They want contests, and let them win something. Don't just give them a trophy. That's fine. Add that too. They want to win something of value they can be
Sure.
proud of.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned sorry, I was going to say, I'm glad you mentioned the like show who the best performers are to the other people, because back when I was a salesperson, I was actually a sales manager at Nation Star. I'll give a shout out to my two buddies, Jeff Puckett and Shannon Adams. They were our top two branch managers. And I aspired to be like them. And I wanted to know what it was they were doing to be successful. And so I kind of watched and kind of review what they're doing, right? But for you to then take best practices from your best people who you already know is converting it and give it to some people who are newer in the organization and help them out to show them the blueprint to success, right? It's like,
Yes.
do these things and be successful. It's pretty easy. So anyway, shout out to my buddies there, but great advice. Yeah.
There. Sorry, Scott, you're within reach, right? If I was to say, hey, here's another lender and look at the loan officer that's killing it, that's out of reach for you in your organization. But somebody that you see all the time or you talk to that's in your branch or in your company,
your peer,
it's within reach. It's possible.
Yeah, it can be done. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, exactly right. No, that's great. So, okay. So conference season, unfortunately, it's conference season's kind of right now, but it's not happening right now. So I'm used to seeing all the different conferences that would be going on right now. I think today, actually, I'd be speaking at Ellie Mae conference today.
Right.
Actually, probably right around this time I'd be speaking. But anyways,
look at this.
Here we are.
It's meant to be.
Right, meant to be. And then next week, obviously, LeadsCon, unfortunately, is canceled. But where can people find you? It looks like you have some stuff coming up online, moving that way. What do you have going on?
Yeah, so salesboomerang.com usually gets everything they need in contact with us. The LinkedIn, Alex Kutsishin, that's me on LinkedIn, and also Sales Boomerang on LinkedIn. That's the best way to find us. Truly, the website is really where we drive everyone. You can also find me through my friends like Scott, and we're doing a lot of these conversations and trying to spread the message. But definitely the web is the easiest on the website, salesboomerang.com.
Awesome. Well, Alex, hey, thanks so much for taking the time today. It was great having you on the show. So glad you could join me, and look forward to future conversations, maybe a future webinar down the road, and we'll have some future clients in the future. Yeah.
Wonderful. And your kids were so good. They didn't open the door once.
I know. They were probably waiting right outside the door. We'll find them here in a second.
They're all like sneaking in.
Right. All right, awesome. Alex. Thanks, hey, man. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Lead Management Masterminds podcast. Today's episode is presented by SDP Solutions, your one-stop shop for all things lead management, strategy, and optimization. Please visit us at www.sdp-solutions.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe and leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast site.